What is going on, guys? It's Bacon Inferno 2 once again, back here with another Showdown team building video. You guys really liked the last one, so we are going to be covering more Showdown teams in more formats. This video will specifically be covering the modded formats of Showdown. Basically, these are formats you can only play on Showdown or by hacking the game if you really want to. But yeah, let's just get right into it. Starting off with Dex. Also, once again, what you would notice is that they're completely blank. So now, because they're not based off of any previous month, they're completely blank, completely new. So you're gonna watch the full team building process. So we start with Lando T, because Lando T is the king of Dex, as he is the king of OU. So we'll actually be giving a Rocky Helmet Lando this time. Okay, so let's go EQ, U-turn, Stealth Rock, and Defog. All these are very important in a basic Dex meta. Obviously, Stealth Rocks are crucial because that extra chip damage is the difference between surviving and dying in a given battle. And really, Defog is just for the hazards on your side. You don't want any of that. Yeah, I do agree with the basic fast sweeper EV set, because even with just EQ and U-turn, you are hitting very hard on pretty much everything in the tier that can't take a physical hit. They will end up dying to Lando. Moving on from that, we need our defensive mons. We're gonna go with Tapu Fini. You see, Tapu Fini is, once again, like I say, very defensive, so leftovers will be the way to go. Moonblast for the Fairy Stab, Taunt to beat other defensive mons. We'll also have a backup Defogger, and Scald for burns and really just some additional water stab. We're gonna make some a little bit goofy EVs. HP 248. I'm gonna go Calm. Just a little bit in special attack with 12. 56 special defense, and we'll put the rest down here in speed. Just have a little bit of a faster Fini in comparison to everyone else. Okay, taking inspiration from our OU team, let's grab Heatran. Heatran is, we're gonna go with the leftover Heatran just to be a little bit more defensive. Obviously, every Heatran must have Earth Power, Magma Storm, Toxic, and Stealth Rock. So this, once again, it's backup hazards, much like Lando. Toxic is really just to get rid of any opponent that is threatening Heatran, and Magma Storm Toxic will pretty much prevent them from living. So we're gonna go with the special sweeper, even though we have leftovers. We're gonna go Timid. Yeah, I think this is a good Heatran. It's very strong, and it's so defensive too. Like, unless you have a ground move, which the Earth Power is specifically for Heatran Dittos, yeah, you're not gonna have a great time against Heatran whenever you see it on the battlefield, even in Dex. Moving on to Zapdos. We're gonna want to have Boots because we don't want that hazard damage. Static. We want healing. See, as you can tell, hazard control is very important in Dex. So that's why I'm giving so many of my team members Defog, so I don't have to rely on just one Pokemon for Defog. I'm able to switch between a lot of them, and the hazard will go away. We'll go with a special sweeper as well for this one. And also I chose Discharge simply for the paralysis, because paralysis is so good. So basically, combination of static and discharge. There's going to be a lot of paralysis going on. We're going to need another defensive Pokemon. We'll go with Ferrothorn. I mean, come on. It is the defensive wall himself. He's not as quite as good as it is an OU simply because of HP fire, but it still is able to get the job done. We're gonna go with power whip, spikes to get even more hazards up. Max HP, careful, 24. We'll just got a little bit, and then we'll put the rest in special defense. Because special defense is important. If you don't have special defense, then you might be screwed. Alright, let's get something to get rid of. So we have lots of coverage to get rid of fire already. But just to make it even better, we'll have Pelipper on here as well. Just to have like the extra rain, making sure that Ferrothorn does not just get one shot by a fire move that comes his way. What do I do with Pelipper though, other than set up the rain? That is the question. Okay. We wanna lengthen that rain, obviously. Turn is great. Roost is great. Scald, and yeah, we really want those hazards gone. So, any chance you get, any chance your opponent tries to set up rocks on you, you can defog it with pretty much over half of the team can defog. So, yeah, so what you're actually going to want to do for using Pelipper, basically set up the rain. If you need to, you can Scald, or you can turn out, or you can defog. Like, that's Pelipper can also take physical hits fairly well. So, that is another great perk of Pelipper. That's going to be it for this team. I'd say this team is solid. It's a little bit less straight. It's about as straightforward as the OU team, just a little bit more focused on getting rid of the hazards, because everything when it comes to hazards matters. All right, moving on to Dex UU. This is significantly less popular, but it's still a fun format to play if you want to just mess around with some not OU Pokemon. So like Celesteela, for example. Celesteela rules down here in Dex UU. Flamethrower for great coverage, obviously Seeds, Protect, and Heavy Slam. Yeah, Celesteela is really good. We're gonna, no, I don't really like what this gets, so we're gonna go with Sassy. And with a Sassy Celesteela, we'll have 4 in defense, but most of it's gonna go into special defense, because I do think the special defense is a lot more important than physical defense, simply because special attackers are just way better, and you don't have to worry about Intimidate. Alright, let's go with Hippowdon. Get that sand up, and then we'll go with leftovers, because Hippo is meant to take hits and heal off those hits, as well as set up the rocks for your own side, and then EQ and Toxic. Yeah, this Hippo will basically be what you switch in when you need to take a hit. We'll add a little bit more special defense because it already has a good amount of physical bulk. So let's make it to, yeah, you just can't hit it. And then this extra 4 in speed is just making sure that you outspeed other Hippodons. And yeah, just basically Hippo comes in, takes a hit, Toxic or rocks, and then you go back to one of your more offensive Pokemon, like Celesteela. Amoonguss. So Amoonguss is great because not only Regenerator, right? You can switch out, and you'll gain yourself some health. Black Sludge, so that you can't just, like, trick strats. Spore, to me, is one of the best moves in the game. 100% accurate, causes your opponent to sleep. This is why Sleep Clause is a thing. Also, just Sludge Bomb, Giga Drain, HP Fire, even though Ferrothorn's not legal. It's good to just cover, because Celesteela is the dominant Pokemon down here, so having HP Fire just good for that extra coverage. And Let's add a little bit of defensive EVs, but mostly special defense is where I want most of the investment to go, so that it is able to like I said, I've been emphasizing that special attackers are more dangerous than physical attackers because of things like intimidate and burn. Mammo Swine, dude, Mammo Swine's so cool. I love Mammo Swine. It's so fun to use. It hits super hard. There's, dude, just Mammo Swine, man. So what are we gonna do with the Mammo Swine? I think what we're going to do is we need a Z Pokemon because we want to make sure everybody knows that this is not Dex. So we're gonna Thick Fat Groundium Z. We'll have Ice Shard for priority, Icicle Crash for the stab of ice, but EQ is going to be a primary move, and also the Z EQ being for Tectonic Rage, and also a backup Stealth Rocker. We're going to go with the Jolly. That's what I wanted. This thing hits really hard. It's pretty fast as well, and nobody wants to take the Groundium Z. Just make sure you don't use it on Celestia. Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz is a very, very good defensive Pokemon. It was actually OU at one point in time in Gen 8, but then it got redone again because there's more defensive options. Overcoat. It's just nice to have to be immune to Hippo's Sandstream. You still want Boots in case your opponent manages to set up the rocks against you. Foul Play makes it so you don't have to use your own terrible attack stat and can use theirs instead. Defog, you probably should know why by now. And turn for easy pivots, max HP, max defense, Impish, and 4 special defense. Yeah, so Mandibuzz will definitely be one of your defensive switch-ins alongside Hippo. Really just take your pick of which is more appropriate based on what your opponent does. Sorry. Is Arctisol legal? I believe it is. So Arctisol's actually crazy as well. Oh my god. Calm down, phone. Calm down, calm down. Leave me alone. Sorry. It won't leave me alone. Anyway, sorry. So we don't have a reliable way of setting up hail, right? But if your opponent gets that hail up, then they're very dead because Arctisol is so good, but we don't. I mean, we have Slush Rush just in case, but just in case your opponent runs Alolan Ninetales, then Arctisol can easily punish any Alolan Ninetales player with super strong attack, with just a little bit of special attack for freeze dry, and then the speed is important. So, because like if you had speed and Volt Beak, they are going to take a crap ton of damage. So yeah, that's not Dex UU. Moving on to not Dex Monotype. As not Dex Monotype, it's a little bit more interesting than regular Monotype in my opinion. Because Greninja is legal, and Greninja is Protean, and Protean's so good in a Monotype format because that basically changes your type to something completely separate from the rest of the team. So we're gonna want to go with Beam, Gunk Shot, U-Turn, and Dark Pulse. Yeah, because you'll have Stab on all of these moves. I actually do agree with this EV set. I don't think Ash Greninja is legal in this, but Just in case, make sure your Greninja is male and not shiny, so that they can't. So that until you use your first move, you won't know. They won't know that it's Protein Greninja. All right, Urshifu Rapid. So this is confirming that we are doing, in fact, a mono water team. And Banded Urshifu is super strong, super duper strong. Obviously, we want Surging Strikes. We want the crit multi-hit, CC, Aqua Jet, and Turn. Yeah, dude, Urshifu is so good. Urshifu is great, and Mono Water is really awesome because there's a lot of cool things you can do with Rain. Speaking of which, we're bringing in Pelipper. Damp Rock is banned for. Otherwise, it'd be way too strong. So but we can work with the rain that we have. So Hurricane, 100% accurate. Defog, U-turn. It's very similar to the last Pelipper I made. It's just a little bit more based on Hurricane because we already have plenty of water coverage. This being a mono water team. I think we're gonna do fairly similar EVs to the Pelipper that we did. Yeah, this is what I want. In the last team in that deck. But Pelipper will be even more important on this team because of how extremely broken rain teams are in that deck. Exhibit A. Mega Swampert. Mega Swampert is absolutely ridiculous. Because with Swift Swim, in combination with Pelipper, this thing becomes such a strong sweeper. And in combination with all of its stab moves, dude, the Mega Swampert is so scary. So, look at how much damage he's going to do with that 438 attack. I don't know what you can do, honestly. The only thing you can do is have a very defensive Pokemon. That's about it. That's all you can do to beat Mega Swampert. We do need some defense. This is mostly offense, except for Pelipper. So let's add Toxapex. It's not the most exciting Pokemon to play or play against, but you can't deny that it's so defensive and so useful. Because of Recover, Burning with Scald, you can Toxic Scald them if you know it, and also Haze to prevent any sort of boosting, sweeping shenanigans that your opponent's trying to do. We're gonna be max HP, Calm. We want a nearly max special defense, just not quite. I want the remaining 8 in speed, just to outspeed opposing Toxapex. Alright, the final team member we are going to be adding is Slowbro. Slowbro is actually a very good defensive Pokemon as well, but it now adds the Psychic coverage. So any additional Psychic coverage that you would need, Slowbro's got you covered. I think Boots, just to make sure that not taking extra chip. We want Scald, we want Teleport to Teleport to get out. Slack off for healing, and then the most important gimmick, Future Sight. So that Future Sight's so easy to forget. So if you're able to set up a Future Sight on your opponent, then they're going to end up taking some extra damage that they forgot was even going to happen. So that's actually it for Dex Monotype. This water type team, super duper strong. Would highly recommend playing. Alright, the final Dex format is Dex AG, which is Dex Anything Goes. This is basically the Dex Ubers format, but it has literally everything in it. So we're going to go with Yveltal. We're actually going to go with Life Orb to have an extra strong Yveltal. Oblivion Wing is a lot more important. Dark Pulse, Heat Wave, and Sucker Punch. Yeah, dude, Yveltal is so good. Like, you just need the healing in order to make up for the use of the Life Orb, but you want the extra strength in the not Dex Anything Goes format. So we're gonna want to have the Sweeper EVs with that extra power as opposed to the extra speed. Mega Rayquaza. Oh lordy, this thing is crazy strong. Absolutely ridiculous Pokemon. One of the most ridiculous Pokemon in the entire series. Dragon Ascent, basically flying type, close combat, extreme speed. It has V Create. It has EQ. Like it's such a ridiculous. Look at these ridiculous stats on top of Life Orb. Absolutely insane. And it'll be a physical sweeper. Yeah, just look at how ridiculous that is. This Pokemon is completely nuts, and there's a reason why an Anything Goes format exists. Necrozma Duskmane as our main defensive boy. Rocky Helmet. We're going to want a Sunsteel Strike, EQ, Morning Sun for the healing, Stealth Rocks. I know this moveset looks very familiar. This is basically how I run all of my Duskmane Necrozmas, but it's a really good set. What can I say? I don't like that actually. I'm gonna go with Impish. We don't need that extra offenses for the defensive Pokemon. Like these two, I think have offenses covered fairly well, so I think we don't need the third one to do that. I know we just added Steel type, but we want Zacian Crowned as well, because this thing is also completely ridiculous. CC. We actually want Iron Head, which is very interesting idea. It's like, why would you want Iron Head over Behemoth Blade? And the answer is simply because of flinches. Flinches are your best friend. So that's all you want. That's all you want. Zacian. This Pokemon's ridiculous. Look at that speed. Look at that attack. Intrepid Sword puts it at +1. We've already talked about Zacian in the last video, but basically, this thing is busted. So we have two of the most busted Pokemon to ever exist, only behind Generation 1 Mewtwo, which is unplayable in pretty much every format, so we don't really get to utilize that. What we can utilize is Primal Groudon. Primal Groudon is also very ridiculous. It's ground fire type with immunity to water, simply because of its ability. Like, how insane is that? That's absolutely bananas. But anyways, we're going to be running obviously the Red Orb, the Precipice Blades. It's extremely strong. Doesn't mean we won't run rocks though, just in case Necrozma goes down. Stone Edge for coverage, Fire Punch for stab. Yeah, dude, Primal Groudon is also very, very ridiculous. It's not as ridiculous as these two, but it defined Generation 6 Ubers, and there's a very good reason for that. Moving on to our last team member, we are going to be adding Ditto, because why? So you have 5 super strong Pokemon, and then a Pokemon that will not only, you'll know exactly what's on your opponent's set, you'll also just get another, you could possibly get a duplicate of one of these ridiculous Pokemon. Obviously one move, but yeah, just the chance to use one of your super duper strong Pokemon again is so helpful, especially in a format with such broken monsters as Mega Rayquaza and Zacian Crown. Yeah, that's actually it for Dex AG. We are now moving on to the more very much Showdown exclusive formats, where you start to get high amounts of customization. And so this actually makes it so the best teams are even more important. because there's so many different options that you can use. But actually, this may come as a surprise. But the best Pokemon in balanced Hackmons is actually Zacian Crowned. Because Zacian Crowned gets an item slot in this. Leftovers on, like, Zamazenta Crown. Did I say Zacian? I meant Zamazenta. Zamazenta Crowned, one of its main problems is the fact that it, fur coat to make it even more defensive. One of its main problems is that it can't hold items. And that's fixed here, because it can hold items. Anchor Shot is very, very good. Spectral Thief is very, very good. Thunderous Kick for extremely strong stab and lowering defensive moves. And then Shore Up, just for healing. And Shore Up is actually the most common healing move, because unlike Roost, which has like a small downside, there's pretty much a zero downside to it. There's only, and like Recover also has zero downside, but it also doesn't have that extra thing for Sand. So Shore Up is just the best healing move. You can add max EVs to anything, but we're gonna go with Ambush. We also won't add anything to special attack. But yeah, that's Zamazenta. Zamazenta Crowned is the best Pokemon in Balanced Hackmons. It's a really good teammate for a Xerneas though. Xerneas is super duper strong, especially with Pixelate. Pixelate, like I said, turns normal moves into fairy moves and have more power. Super duper good on an already powerful Pokemon like Xerneas. And we're gonna go with that Pixie Plate, because the Pixie Plate is super duper, makes the fairy type moves even stronger. Completely ridiculous. And then we're gonna add Boom Burst. Like, Boom Burst is just a 140 based. The only downside is that it's sound based. That's it. But nobody runs Sound Boost when there's so many better moves. Also, fairy type boosted Rapid Spin, Strength Sap for more ridiculous healing, and then Quiver Dance in case you want it to be even stronger. Xerneas is absolutely bananas. We're gonna go with Timid. But yeah, look at that, dude. Imagine facing against this Xerneas. You'll have such a bad time. You're gonna get hit super duper hard. Regigigas is like the one format you can use Regigigas, because it sucks because of slow start. But now you can just change it, and now you have Poison Heal. Poison Heal, Toxicroak, Regigigas with Facade. Imagine that. You can actually utilize this 160 base base physical attack. You can also have Precipice Blades. Sure, why not? Dragon Dance to boost your physical attack, because once again, why not? It'll become now super strong and super fast. Whatever. And then last move will probably just be Spikes. Why not? Yes, we do want this to be Adamant, because look at that. You actually get to utilize this for once. That's crazy. Giratina. This is actually a case where you can make a super defensive Pokemon by leftovers. Like, I know Zamazenta is already a super defensive Pokemon, but Giratina also is a super defensive Pokemon. By giving it Prankster, leftovers, Core Enforcer, just to suppress your opponent's abilities, Haze, because everybody loves Haze, obviously Spectral Thief, because Spectral Thief is one of the most broken moves in the game, and then Teleport, so you can get out if you want to. So basically this is a Haze priority set. We don't want it to be gentle, we want relaxed, and we want less speed, just in case. I don't know, because we don't need speed. We don't need speed for Giratina. Because we have Prankster. Moving on, we'll add Eternatus. Eternatus is broken, and it's very, very good in Ubers. But what if it had Dragon's Maw? Even stronger Dragon type moves. Like, that just, like, if you ever thought any of these Pokemon were broken in Ubers, just putting them in Balanced Hackmons makes them so much better and so much more crazy. Core Enforcer, Sludge Bomb, Dragon Energy, which is literally Dragon type Water Spout. It's so strong. And then obviously Strength Stat to get even more, just get so much health back. Timid. Alright, yeah, this is our Eternatus. It's have fun using that on the Balanced Hackmons ladder. Our final team member is gonna be your boy Veltal. I know we waited until the very end to make our Veltal set, but it's basically gonna go something similar to Xerneas, just with flying types instead of fairy types. Boots are still important because you don't change your type, but Wicked Blow, it's so strong. V Create, sure. Rapid Spin, this is now flying type Rapid Spin, and then Strength Set. Like this, there's so much customization, but these sets are really gonna get you what you need against your opponents. Like, all of these Pokemon hit so hard and are using the best moves that they can in combination with really broken abilities with them. So yeah, that's the Balanced Hackmons team. Moving on to Almost Any Ability, which is basically just normal Pokemon, but any ability, like I said, you can have almost any ability. So our strat actually is going to be Mew. We're going to want to go Mew with Regenerator. Regenerator is a really, really good ability. Just like you switch out and you heal. No problems. No problems. We're going to do a Choice Scarf Trick set along with Roost, Teleport, and Will-O-Wisp. Just because like every Pokemon still has their normal moves, just can have any ability, which can make or break a Pokemon. I believe that some Pokemon are banned in this form. I think this format has a lot more bans than Balanced Hackmon. We're gonna go with the max defenses, or sorry, max defense, max HP, with a little bit of special defense and Impish. Good team. Let's go with Garchomp. Garchomp, we haven't really gotten a chance to use Garchomp, and I think that in this format, Garchomp is actually quite good. Not that it wasn't good before. We're also gonna do Regenerator for Garchomp. I believe the rule is no more than 2 Pokemon have the same ability, which I think is fair because like then everything would run the same abilities. Like, so then we're gonna go with the EQ Swords Dance set. I think that would be really awesome. We'll go with Rocks as well, and Stone Edge. Yeah, I think this is a good Garchomp. We're gonna go with a Physical Sweeper EV set. Yeah, there we go. That's Garchomp, and let's go with Tapu Koko next. I think I have a really fun idea for Tapu Koko. We're gonna go with, well, we'll do Pixelate. Pixelate Tapu Koko because extra strong fairy moves. Roost, Facade. Yeah, we're actually gonna go with a Flame Orb set, and go Roost, Facade, Taunt, and Volt Switch. So yeah, nothing's actually getting affected by Burn other than just losing a little bit every turn. But you have strong physical Fairy Stab, which is really, really rare. We're gonna do some spicy EVs so that your opponent will never be able to tell what you're running. Just to mix it up. That's usually why I just sometimes randomly run a little bit strange EVs. I think Genesect is legal in this, which I'm actually a little bit surprised by, but oh well. Must be the 4 times weakness to 5. But anyways, Tinted Lens Genesect. That definitely reduces that damage that your opponent excuse me, definitely reducing that damage for wait, does it reduce your damage? Pokemon's attacks that are not very... No. It just makes it so your opponent can't just send in a resist and they're fine. No. You set up the shift gears on them. And then you leech life them to death, or you iron head them to death, or you just turn out and switch to something else. Physical sweeper. Like, Genesect is crazy strong as well. So I think Tinted Lens definitely makes Genesect an even bigger threat. Can't make a team without a Lando T. Lando T is super duper good in almost any ability as well. Simply, once again, we're abusing Aerial Aid. We're gonna go with Sash just to make sure that we live any of our opponent's not flying. What am I talking about? Any opponent's ice moves. But the big funny is the flying type explosion. So that if for whatever reason they send in a Pokemon that is weak to flying, they're very dead to an explosion. Like, explosion already does a lot of damage, but when it's stab and boosted, your opponent's most likely not gonna live. Our last team member is gonna be Komodo. This may be a little bit strange, but I do believe that Komodo is super duper good if we use Citrus Berry Unburden. Because Unburden makes this thing so fast, and Drain Punch, you'll find out in a sec, Belly Drum. If we run Belly Drum, Citrus, Drain Punch, Unburden, Komodo becomes really, really hard to kill. Because it will become so fast and so strong that there's not really a lot you're going to be able to deal with it. So yeah, that's almost any ability there. It does impact each individual Pokemon a lot. Mix and Mega. Mix and Mega is actually an interesting format. Because basically with Mix and Mega is that any Pokemon Mega evolves into any form. So one of my favorite ones to do is Regieleki Altaria, because it basically gives it gives it Pixelate. So Volt Switch, Rapid Spin, Fairy type Rapid Spin, Fairy type E-Speed, and Fairy type Explosion. And did I mention that Regieleki becomes Fairy type when it Mega evolves into Altaria? Like it's still Regieleki, but like it has the Altaria to Mega Altaria boosts, meaning that it becomes Fairy type. So it becomes Electric Fairy, which is basic. So basically, it just becomes an even stronger Tapu Koko, which is really, really busted. Absolutely bananas. So, and then we're going to add to the theme of using Genesect every opportunity we can. There's a reason this thing is banned from OU, but I do think that we want to use Camera Update, which gives it Sheer Force, which is also one of the best abilities in the game. So it will be boosted Ice Beam, boosted Thunderbolt, and boosted Leech Life. Unfortunately, we will not get heals from Leech Life, but the Sheer Force boost will make this so strong. That is not at all the EVs I wanted. We want Adamant, Max Attack. Well, no, I'm actually gonna mess with this because I want some special attack. So we'll go with Rash, a little bit of HP, and all special attack, and the rest in speed. Okay, I think that's a good Genesect. We will roll with that. Another really fun thing to play is... Wait, are you allowed to use more than one? I want to use Entei, but is Entei with not Alakazam? Entei with... Can you use multiple of the same Mega Stone in one team? I don't think so. I think that's a ban. Oh, Genesect must be shiny. Oops. Yeah, one of each Mega Stone. That makes sense. So Altaria Knight Entei is also very good. but we're gonna go with Pincer, right? And simply, once again, we just want to change this type of E-speed and make it even stronger. Sacred Fire, Stone Edge, and Howl. Just, it's not Swords Dance, but I guess you gotta work with what you got. We want Adamant. Yeah, I think Pincer, like flying type. It also, Entei also becomes flying type when you Pincer, right? So that eliminates a ground weakness and makes it become an immunity. Hey, look, we're using Lando T. That's crazy. But Lando T in this format uses Salamence Sight, which also grants aerial aid, but it grants different boosts and no change to typing. Just adds that powerful explosion. Dude, explosion with aerial aid Landorus is so fun to use that I'm using it on multiple teams. So actually, completely based Landorus would recommend. We're gonna go with Milotic next. This might be seeming like a weird pick, but trust me, I know what I am doing. So we are going to make it Prankster, which effectively will just be using Sable Knight. So that makes this thing super duper defensive, and also have Prankster. So then flip turn, Scald. Here's the Prankster Haze, which we're utilizing on Giratina during the in Balanced Hackmons, so we are going to be doing the same for Milotic. A little bit of strange EVs, but I feel like, once again, it keeps your opponent on your toes. Final team member will be Magearna. Magearna is crazy, but is also legal down here. Ubers are legal. I just think that they're just not as useful as some of these other Pokemon with addition of Megastones. So Manectite, so it becomes Intimidate, but more importantly, it gets like all that special attack boost. Volt Switch, Fluor Cannon, Pain Split, and Thunder Wave. Yeah, so it'll be a little bit more of a defensive Magearna, but also not really, because it's stupid strong. We're gonna make it more defensive EVs though. But yeah, that's our team for Mix and Mega. Mix and Mega is a really fun format. It's honestly underrated. Would recommend playing. Alright, our second to last format is going to be STABmons. STABmons is basically everything remains the same except for Move Pool, which can now have access to any move of the type of the user. So we're going to start this off with Toxapex, which Black Sludge, Regenerator, this is normal. Recover, Flip Turn. Flip Turn is not something Toxapex normally gets, but now it's able to have it because of the water typing. It now gets access to all water moves. Therefore, Flip Turn is now on the table, which is very, very good. Gives Toxapex pivot ability that it did not have in its base form. It's really, really good without the pivot ability. So with the pivot ability, it's even better. We want it relaxed. We're gonna add a Celesteela as well. Leftovers, obviously Beast Boost. We're gonna want to give it Roost, which it is actually something it does not get, believe it or not, because it's a rocket ship, so it's not gonna be roosting. It's not a bird, but it does now because of access to it via it being a flying type. We're gonna max out. Basically, I know we're mostly utilizing it for defensive Pokemon right now, but trust me, it can get to some really crazy offensive things as well. Not relaxed, sassy. Alright, Chansey. Now there are a ridiculous amount of normal moves, so having access to a normal type is actually crazy good. Obviously teleport in case we can get out, but transform. This thing is so bulky and has a lot of HP. And transform basically changes everything. Except, and also rapid spin in case we need to get rid of hazard, slack off for healing. But transform, the HP is the only thing you retain. So with that 250 base HP, Chansey becomes basically a much more bulky version of whatever you transform into. You can transform into another defensive Pokemon to be even more bulky, or an offensive Pokemon that normally lacks bulk and now have bulk. So transform Chansey is honestly insane. We're gonna actually use Crawdaunt. It gets adaptability normally because, like I said, there's no changes to abilities, but there is changes to moves. I believe it gets Aqua Jet normally, but Surging Strikes it definitely doesn't get normally. So that's going to do stupid amounts of damage, being Choice Band, adaptability. And also Flip Turn, in case we want to get out. We're going to do something like this. We're going to go with this Physical Sweeper. Adamant. Yeah, because Crawdaunt is crazy strong with Surging Strikes. So that is definitely a well thought out addition. Ferrothorn. Yes, we get to deal with Ferrothorn once again. This time we'll go Rocky Helmet, Iron Barbs for that extra. But now it gets Strength Sap. Completely ridiculous. What a ridiculous Pokemon. If you thought it was defensive and hard to kill at before, it now can basically fully heal itself if you send in something with anything that has even just okay offenses. That's how ridiculous Strength Sap is, and why most of our balanced Hackmons team had Strength Sap, is it heals so much at the cost of just a -1 of your opponent's attack. The final Pokemon we're adding is Buzzwole. Buzzwole has some access to some completely ridiculous moves. We want Rocky Helmet, obviously Beast Boost, because Beast Boost is crazy. Roost, Turn, Body Press, and Sticky Web. So this actually is a little bit more of a defensive Buzzwole, but look at that defense, man. Like, it can use its attack or defense, and also with this way, we are able to Beast Boost into defense to make Body Press even stronger. And also just web, like webs are super helpful. So that is actually it for Gen 8 STABmons, and we are going to move on to NFEs. This isn't exactly a modded format, it just takes place over in this section. So this is one where it's a little bit less interesting, but whatever. We're going with Piloswine as our main Pokemon. Obviously Eviolite, there's going to be a lot of that. Big Fat, we're going with Ice Shard. NFEs is not very common at all because it's basically just using weaker versions of what you like. But Piloswine is actually what rules down here. Simply because of just it used to be fully evolved, so it's actually an okay Pokemon, but it's really, really good in NFEs. Raboot. I mean, Cinderace is banned up in OU, so having access to basically like a mini version of that is really, really good, and it's not defensive enough for Eviolite to really matter. Plus, it's going to be hurting itself with Flare Blitz, so why not just make it more strong with its Life Orb? A lot of high risk, high reward moves, and changing typing a lot thanks to Libero. It will be a physical sweeper. But yeah, Raboot honestly is really, really cool and really fun to play. Thwackey basically is baby Rillaboom, or I guess mid-stage Rillaboom. But this one you do want Eviolite, Grassy Glide, Swords Dance for even stronger hits, Knockoff, and Turn. So that Thwackey is able to do some really, really good damage. And then swap out. You can sweep with Swords Dance. You can knock off items. Yeah. You get the drill. Pharaoh Seed, which is actually considered a PU Pokemon when fully evolved Pokemon are involved. So we are going to do Eviolite still to make this very defensive. Knockoff, Gyro Ball because it has like no speed, Spikes, and then Stealth Rock. So yeah, we still need a defensive Pokemon down here in NFEs. Even though Pharaoh Seed is a basic form, it's still really good in the middle stages. I do like this EV set actually. We're gonna go with it. Moving on to Girder. Weaker Conkeldurr, but a relatively strong Pokemon. I think it has been legal before, just not in this generation. We are going to go with Guts, even though we will go with Eviolite, in case for whatever reason your opponent decides to status you. Knockoff, Mach Punch, Drain Punch for that extra healing, and then Bulk Up for all of that sweep ability. Yeah, I do like this EV set. We are going to end this team off with Baby Toxapex, Marini. Yeah, basically how it works in the realm of NFEs is that if you're a defensive Pokemon, its baby stage is probably working. Like you notice, these are all, except for Girder, I'd say all these are fairly standard. Like we use Mamoswine on our next Dex UU. Raboot is actually, like Cinderace is actually banned from OU. Rillaboom is really fun to use in doubles. Ferrothorn and Toxapex are crazy defensive Pokemon. So you see a lot of familiarities with NFEs to the standard formats. It very much correlates. So like typing, so it just shows that typing and general stat spread are very important. Yes, this is the EVs that we want. So that's it for the NFE squad. Good luck finding anybody online to play this format because it's not very popular at all. The final team for this episode is going to be Godly Gift. I'm going to start this out with Lander. Oops, I have to actually add the Pokemon first. Lando T, obviously. We're going to go with the Leftovers set. And Turn, EQ, Stealth Rock, and Rock Tomb. Just because that lowered speed is super duper important in this format. So let's go with this. Excuse me. And we'll go with the Sassy set. And we are actually going to be adding Zamazenta Crowned, which may seem a little bit strange, because Zamazenta Crowned is not even that good, right? Well, in this format, it is fully legal. So like, what the heck? Why not use it? So we're going to go with Zamazenta Crowned. Sure. CC, Ironhead. Obviously, it's not as awesome as it is in Balanced Hackmons, but it's alright. It's alright. It can be used down here in Godly Gift. Yes, that is the EV set I want to use. Moving on from this, we are going to add Slowking. Regular Slowking, not even Galar Slowking. Just a normal, good old Slowking. But, Slowking's role is to basically be a defensive wall, much like Zamazenta. But more so, like Zamazenta's more physically defensive. Actually, it's about the same, I think. No, it is exactly the same, but Slowking, just a different typing and more focused on special bulk, and we want to make sure that we don't take that extra damage from hazards. Scald, Teleport, Slack Off, and Future Sight. And then we're gonna go with a bold EV set. I think that does. We're gonna just move that from special attack to special defense. So yeah, we got. Sorry, if I said special defense before, I meant physical defense. Just because that's what we want to focus our slowking on. Thunderous Therian. We actually don't use this Pokemon very much, but I do think that it shines down here in Godly Gift. I'm trying to think of a good set for Thunderous Team though. We'll go with the leftovers. Thunderbolt, Nasty Plot, Sludge. We'll go with the subset. I think we don't really use those very often, but I feel like a subset is really good for Thunderous Team. I'll go with a max speed, max special attack. Why do I keep doing that? And just a tiny bit in defense. Okay, I am down for this. Ferrothorn. Again, I know we use Ferrothorn a lot, but it's just, like I said, I can't emphasize enough of how good Ferrothorn is defensively. If you want me to really go in depth in it, watch my last video where I talk about it in OU. But basically, Ferrothorn is crazy defensively, and you're gonna have a really hard time killing it. Spikes, knockoff, Gyro Ball. We're gonna go with a 248 HP, a 252 defense, and an 8 special defense. Not 7, 8. And I think a relaxed works. Alright, the final Pokemon we are adding to our team is going to be none other than Tornadus T. We have all 3 genies on this team because why not? I think that's really funny. And it's very gimmicky, much like this format. I can't spell though, apparently. I will say that with Tornadus T, we are going to go with a citrus set. Turn, knockoff, acrobatics in case once the berry is eaten, and then bulk up. Sweepability, because sweepability is really fun. We're gonna go with a physical set. It's a physical Tornadus, which its special attack and physical attack are not that far off. So a physical sweeper Torn, I don't think it's expected a whole lot. So yeah, that's actually it for Godly Gift and it for this video. Use all these teams, have fun with them. The teams will be linked in the comments, and there will be timestamps for the specific teams that are in this video. So yeah, thanks for watching, and hopefully you weren't too bored, and see you guys next time. Bye.